Just imagine, Tesla's best-selling car today, the Model Y, has already conquered the world, but it won't be able to sustain the company's growth rate forever. Tesla knows this, and so does Elon Musk. In recent months, the brand saw revenue fall 12% in the second quarter of 2025, along with a 14% drop in deliveries. For those who follow closely, this is a clear sign that something new will need to arrive to reignite interest and recover the numbers. That's where the Model 2 comes in, a project that promises to shake up the market and, if launched at around $15,990, could open the doors to a new generation of buyers who have always dreamed of owning a Tesla but never quite fit their budget. The pressure won't come solely from declining sales. Chinese competition, led by giants like BYD, will be gaining ground, offering electric cars with advanced technology and aggressive pricing. Meanwhile, Musk's image in political circles will remain a sensitive factor, and changes in incentive policies for electric vehicles in the United States could affect the brand's competitiveness. The Model 2, therefore, will be much more than just a cheap car. It could be the decisive strategy to return Tesla to the top and, at the same time, redefine its global reach. The most interesting thing is that the idea isn't to reinvent the wheel. On the contrary, Tesla will follow a recipe that has already worked, but adapting it. The Model 2 will be produced on the same production line as the Model Y, leveraging the existing structure and some of the engineering. The logic will be simple: cut costs, eliminate expensive features, and maintain the essentials that make a Tesla a Tesla. For those who already drive a Model Y, the difference may be clear, but for those new to the brand, the promise is that the car will deliver the essence of the experience, even without the luxuries. The biggest challenge will be balancing expectations. It's inevitable that such a cheaper model won't offer the same refinement as a vehicle costing 3 times as much. But that doesn't mean it's bad. Tesla will play with public perception. For some, it will be the perfect opportunity to own a cutting-edge electric car without breaking the bank. For others, perhaps a more raw version than they expected. The fact is, if the Model 2 delivers on its promises in terms of range, technology, and price, dealerships could see lines forming in the first few days of pre-sale. Of course, all of this is still just projections and speculation, as Tesla has been keeping the details tightly under wraps. Even the prototypes, which have already begun testing, will be camouflaged, hiding their design and internal solutions as much as possible. But it's precisely this mystery that keeps the public and the press intrigued, fueling discussions, leaks, and bets about what's to come. And, let's face it, Musk knows better than anyone how to turn suspense into free marketing. If the plan comes to fruition, the Model 2 could appeal to a demographic that currently views Tesla as a distant prospect. Families looking for a second car, young people looking to enter the electric world, and even corporate fleets looking to cut costs could put the model on their shopping lists. This will not only expand the brand's reach, but also put pressure on competitors to respond with equally aggressive pricing. Model 2 production will follow a smart logic, making the most of what already works to cut time and costs. Tesla plans to use the same assembly line as the Model Y at its Fremont, California factory. This will allow the new model to be assembled using part of the existing infrastructure, avoiding massive investments in new facilities. The difference is that, in the process, several more expensive components and finishes will be replaced with simpler alternatives. It won't just be a matter of aesthetics, but of cost engineering to achieve the $15,990 price tag so many expect. Cost cutting will come from all sides. Premium systems, present in more expensive models, will be left out or adapted to more basic versions. This will include everything from visual elements to technological features that, while desirable, won't be essential for daily use. The strategy is clear: maintain Tesla's DNA, competitive range, advanced connectivity, and support for technologies like full self-driving. but without overdoing the frills that increase the final product's price. It's like preparing a dish with the same main ingredients, but without the expensive toppings that only serve to impress. Prototyping of the Model 2 will begin months before mass production. According to information circulating behind the scenes, the first controlled tests will begin in June, but only to fine-tune processes and ensure everything runs as expected. Mass production, with units rolling off the line in volume, is scheduled for the second half of 2026. This will give Tesla time to optimize manufacturing, resolve initial issues, and avoid delays. Although, with Elon Musk, delays are never a surprise. This use of the assembly line will bring another advantage: the ability to quickly scale production if demand explodes. With Tesla's track record, orders are likely to surge in the first few days of pre-sales, especially given the Tesla car under $20,000. Headlines: the very fact that it shares a structure with the Model Y will give the Model 2 a solid foundation of reliability and safety, elements that are crucial for those buying their first Tesla vehicle. However, this strategy won't come without risks. By oversimplifying, Tesla will need to be careful not to create the impression that the Model 2 is a cheap Tesla, in a negative sense. The challenge will be maintaining a high perception of value, even with obvious cuts in finishes and features. This will require a delicate balance between cost and user experience, something that could be reflected in both the design and the materials chosen. Another advantage will be the factory's response time. Unlike other automakers that take years to adjust production, Tesla has already mastered the flow of large-scale electric vehicle assembly. This means that if demand surprises, Fremont's capacity can be adjusted more easily. This industrial flexibility will be a significant advantage in the race against direct competitors, especially Chinese brands that also operate with low margins and high volumes. The Model 2's exterior design will follow Tesla's minimalist philosophy, but with clear adjustments to reduce costs and simplify production. The front of the car, for example, will undergo a noticeable redesign. The headlights will be positioned higher, and the traditional light bar that usually gives a sophisticated touch to more expensive models will simply be gone. This choice won't just be aesthetic. Each component cut means fewer parts, fewer cables, fewer assembly hours, and, of course, less expense. It's a calculated cut, even if some purist fans turn up their noses. At the rear, the same logic will apply. The Model Y's signature continuous light bar will be replaced by a body-colored panel, eliminating any extra, non-functional lighting elements. This isn't about compromising safety. The mandatory lights will remain, but rather eliminating details that, while attractive, don't directly impact the driving experience. It's a pragmatic decision that should generate savings in both manufacturing and maintenance. Another eye-catching change will be the roof. Forget the panoramic glass that floods the interior with natural light. In the Model 2, it will be replaced by a solid panel, painted the same color as the car. This modification will reduce production costs, increase structural rigidity, and even reduce the need for interior reinforcements. At the same time, it will eliminate the risk of costly repairs in the event of damage, something that may appeal to consumers more concerned with durability than visual sophistication. Despite these cuts, one important technological element will be retained: the front-facing camera. It will be integrated into the bumper and will allow the vehicle to remain compatible with Tesla's full self-driving system. This decision demonstrates that, despite being simplified, the Model 2 will not sacrifice features that could generate additional revenue in the future. After all, the autonomous driving software is sold separately and represents significant profit potential for the company. The decision to preserve the autonomous driving hardware will also be strategic for another objective: preparing the Model 2 for use in Tesla's future robo-taxi service. Musk has publicly discussed the possibility of allowing owners to put their cars to work when they're not driving, and this will be a way to make the car pay for itself over time. Even without all the luxuries, the presence of this technology will keep the Model 2 within the brand's innovation ecosystem. The car's overall styling will continue to echo the Model Y, but on a more compact and streamlined scale. This will allow it to be easily identified as part of the Tesla family, which is important for marketing and consumer perception. At the same time, it will avoid looking like a dead ringer for the Model Y, as some design elements will be unique to this model. Inside, the Model 2 is expected to reveal the most obvious face of Tesla's cost-effective strategy. The center console, for example, will be redesigned and positioned lower in relation to the main screen, creating a sense of space and facilitating access to controls. The design will be somewhat reminiscent of the Cybertruck, with a clean and functional style. This repositioning won't just be aesthetic. Fewer parts, fewer fittings, and less complex assembly will mean faster production and lower final costs. One notable absence will be the rear screen. In more expensive models, it serves as entertainment, function control, and integration with the future robo-taxi system. In the Model 2, Tesla is expected to bet that passengers will use the smartphone app to interact with the vehicle, thus eliminating an expensive component and avoiding additional maintenance. For some, this absence may be a negative. For others, it won't make any difference, especially if the car delivers on its range and price promises. The audio system will also see cuts. While the Model Y offers 15 speakers throughout the cabin, the Model 2 is expected to have only 10, simplifying installation and reducing production costs. Furthermore, the column speakers, those that help create a more immersive sound experience, will likely be omitted. It's a change that will be felt by those who value sound quality, but is unlikely to deter buyers interested in the overall package. Another strategic cut will be in materials. Instead of vegan leather, the seats will be covered in high-strength fabric, a solution already seen in more affordable versions of the Model 3 and Model Y produced in Mexico. These seats will not have heating or ventilation, eliminating the cost of components, sensors, and electrical systems. Besides being cheaper, they will also be simpler to repair, a point that could please fleet owners and consumers seeking low maintenance costs. The door trim will also follow this simplicity. Instead of soft surfaces and double-paned glass for sound insulation, the Model 2 could adopt simple glass and less elaborate panels, keeping only what's necessary for basic comfort. This will result in a leaner interior, but without compromising safety or ergonomics. The lack of more sophisticated elements will be compensated for by the minimalist design and the central screen as the control center for virtually all of the car's functions. Even the interior lighting system will be simplified. While other models feature configurable RGB LED strips, the Model 2 will offer only white light, keeping the interior illuminated in a functional and direct way. This is another savings that, for many drivers, won't have a real impact on their daily lives, but it helps keep the final price within the established aggressive target. When it comes to the Model 2's technical specifications, it's clear that Tesla will strike a delicate balance between cost, performance, and efficiency. The heart of this car is expected to be a 53 kWh battery, chosen not only for its lower price compared to other chemistries, but also for its durability and safety. This configuration will represent somewhere between 25% and 38% of the vehicle's total cost, which highlights the significant impact the battery pack will have on the production budget. It won't be the most powerful in the lineup, but it should be sufficient for the daily usage profile Tesla aims to meet. In terms of range, estimates point to around 250 miles, or just over 400 kilometers, on a single charge. This may not be a figure that will impress long-distance enthusiasts, but it's perfectly adequate for city driving or medium-distance commutes. It's worth noting that Tesla will likely focus on reduced weight, aerodynamic design, and lighter wheels to get the most out of this battery, ensuring that the announced range isn't just theoretical, but realistic for everyday use. Performance will also need to be considered to balance cost and experience. The entry-level version will likely be RWD with rear-wheel drive to keep the mechanics simpler and reduce production costs. This doesn't mean the car will be slow. Tesla's track record shows that even the most basic models deliver quick acceleration and responsiveness. However, don't expect supercar-worthy 0 to 100 speeds, but rather solid, consistent performance for everyday use. Another interesting point is how the Model 2 could inherit energy management technologies already found in more expensive models. This includes battery preheating strategies for fast recharging and software that optimizes fuel consumption in different driving conditions. Even though it's a cheaper model, it should retain this onboard intelligence, as much of these functions are software-based, which Tesla can replicate without significant additional costs. Charging efficiency will also be a plus. Although not officially confirmed, there's speculation that the Model 2 will support fast charging at similar standards to its larger siblings, allowing it to reach a good percentage charge in minutes, not hours. This will be vital to keeping it competitive against Chinese models, which have been making significant progress in this area. And of course, integration with Tesla's supercharger network will continue to be a key differentiator. Cost control won't be limited to the battery and mechanical components. Components such as suspension, brakes, and steering will be simplified, but without compromising safety. The car will likely use a more basic suspension setup, with fewer electronic adjustments, but still efficient for urban and highway use. The brakes, while not sporty, should maintain regenerative capacity to optimize battery recharge while driving. The Model 2's impact on the market could be immediate and profound. With a starting price nearly $29,000 lower than the Model Y, it will open up a new market for consumers who previously viewed Tesla as out of reach. Young people buying their first car, families looking for a second vehicle, and even companies interested in electrifying their fleets may find the Model 2 the perfect gateway into the brand's universe. This shift in customer profile will not only boost sales, but also strengthen Tesla's presence in segments previously dominated by low-cost Chinese brands. The psychological effect of a Tesla for under $20,000 cannot be underestimated. The headline alone will create a wave of curiosity and desire, attracting attention even from those who've never considered owning an electric car. Furthermore, the presence of the Tesla logo in the garage can carry enormous symbolic weight, elevating the perception of status without requiring the investment of a more expensive model. This is free marketing, and the company knows how to exploit it like no other. Another point is the direct impact on competition. Brands like BYD, Wuling, and other Chinese manufacturers will have to react either with price cuts or technological improvements to maintain their market share. This could trigger a new price war in the compact electric vehicle segment, benefiting consumers and accelerating the global transition to electric vehicles. In this scenario, the Model 2 won't be just another car. It could become a catalyst for change across the industry. The launch date, scheduled for November 2026, will add even more anticipation. Musk will likely make this event a spectacle, mixing suspense, technical revelations, and ambitious promises. And even if some deadlines shift, a common occurrence in Tesla's history, the mere fact that a date is set will keep the media and public on edge, discussing every rumor and leak that emerges. If sales do indeed soar as expected, the Model 2 could alter the production flow at Tesla's factories. This would not only increase pressure on Fremont, but could also lead the company to expand assembly to other facilities in the future, taking advantage of strategic markets and reducing logistics costs. This expansion, if realized, would give the car an even more global presence, competing head-to-head in regions where price and availability are key factors in purchasing decisions. The launch could also serve as a positioning experiment. If the public responds positively to the simpler, more accessible format, Tesla could replicate this formula in other segments, such as utility vehicles and even smaller versions of larger SUVs. In other words, the Model 2 will not just be a product, but a viability test for a new line of vehicles that combine sales volume with controlled margins. And to think that all of this will begin with a concept that, for now, is still surrounded by speculation, and a few glimpses of camouflaged prototypes driving around California. Tesla won't confirm all the details immediately, and this approach to controlled secrecy will be part of its strategy to keep the buzz alive until the official announcement. Musk has proven time and time again that he knows how to turn each new model's appearance into a global event, and the Model 2 will be no different. The suspense will keep the public devouring every leaked image, every technical rumor, and every clue purposefully dropped between the lines of the CEO's own statements. Interestingly, this suspense will affect not only end consumers, but also direct competitors who will closely monitor Tesla's every move to prepare. Chinese, Korean, and even traditional European automakers will be watching closely, not only to see what the Model 2 will offer, but also to assess how they can react in a timely manner.